Hey, this is Metal Rob, and we are here with
Carcass John.
and
Chris O'Toole.
from Unearth. Thanks for letting us hang out in your abode here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's a bit stinky after the rain.
It's all good.
It's all right.
So we're in the back of the Unearth bus right now at the Dallas stop of the 2018 Warped Tour. How's it been going so far?
Good. I think we're about 9 shows in, and started off with 5 sold-out shows. California, I think, sold out. And made our way through Phoenix, which was as hot as the sun. It was every bit as challenging as
dry heat, Chris. It's a dry heat.
It was 112 or whatever it was. Plus, in between the buses, it gets even hotter than 112. So it gets so it's like an oven. That was fun. Vegas too, very hot. Downtown area, so that was kind of congested. We had to park about 4 blocks away from the venue.
Wow.
To make it there on time. Just had to move merch and equipment, so it's a real pain in the butt. It was fun. Went to casinos afterwards, and then
Some place in Missouri.
We played Bonus Springs. Is it Bonus Springs? Bonus Springs?
Bonus, maybe. Could be.
That was a weird venue because it was a giant car park in the middle of nowhere, basically, on a downward sloped car park. Yeah. So it was a bit confusing. I think it was next to a Renaissance Festival grounds.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Any port in the storm, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and Dallas, the show today was great. I think it was sold out. So.
Even despite the rain, it was still killer. Crowd was into it.
Yes.
It was a little hot and muggy, but not like it's been, so you got lucky today, I guess. Yeah.
Man, it was punishing being on the stage. I was worn out, and I didn't play.
Yeah.
I was just standing there looking, and it was, oh my gosh, you guys brought it hard. The energy was fantastic and tight. Holy cow.
Thanks. Good. Yeah,
Unbelievably
Wow, very
tight,
nice.
man. It was really, really well done.
Yeah, did you notice it's the Pantera tribute we showed them at the end of one of the songs?
I was probably too busy trying to film. What song was it in?
It was at the end of Never Cease. Did you
Yeah,
notice that?
yeah,
I was like,
yep.
yeah, you almost noticed it.
Okay. No, I missed it. I said that was not going to get past me, and I think it got
Yeah, he was
past me.
winking at me, not because he likes me, but because he was telling me that here comes the Pantera.
Well, you're a
tribute.
pretty nice guy. I mean,
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
We've known each other 10,
Long time.
12 years.
Okay, well, that leads me into this. How did you guys get connected, and then how later did you end up in the band?
I connected with Carcass John at some shows with my other band, Turbid North. I can't remember the first show. I think it was at Ridgely Theatre.
Ridgely.
So we made friends.
Yep, Ridgely Theater. Once again, like we talked about several other times, you get there early, you stay a little bit late. You don't just go there to see one band. I just happened to stick around, saw these guys play, really dug their music, helped
Was
them.
that opening for Cohort?
I think it was, and ended up helping them move boxes and just became friends, and the rest is history, as they say.
Right on.
Yeah.
We're like brothers.
So Turbid North toured nationally, and we caught the ear of Trevor Phipps, the singer for Unearth.
Okay,
And he has a record label called Ironclad Recording.
gotcha.
And released our album, and I stayed in contact with him because I was sort of the go-to guy in Turbid North for business stuff.
Okay,
And then I heard through the grapevine that their regular bass player, Slow, wasn't able to tour anymore.
okay.
I was having to drop out of tours for personal reasons. And so they had fill-ins, and my good friend Nick Hendy from the Destro was living in New York, and he hit up Jono, drummer for the Turbid North.
Correct.
Jono used to play with Nick Hendy in the Destro. And we were practicing at Turbid North, and Jono said to me, hey, I heard that Unearth were going to fill in bassist, and apparently, he said, hey, you should hit up Trevor,
Right.
and say, hey, what's going on? And I made a joke and I said, I'm sorry, Turbid North is booked for 9-10 months next year. I couldn't possibly commit to it. We kind of had a giggle because we were in between albums. It had been a while since we've done some touring. So I went home and I thought about it. I just called Trevor and said, hey, what's going on with Slow? And he said, yeah, he's not much anymore. Would you be interested? And I said, yep. So I went home and I recorded, I think, 6 of my favourite Unearth songs. Just learned them, transcribed them on paper, and then recorded myself playing them on YouTube. They might still be up on YouTube. And then I send them the links. And said, okay, well, you're committed, so we'll see you in Florida in 4 weeks with Crowbar. That was the first tour I did with them. So that was in December 2014. And then they haven't fired me yet.
I think you're fine.
And
I
why
think
should
you're,
they? You're awesome.
Yeah, I
They're-
think you're going to be fine. So, obviously, you're not from the United States. And aren't Turbid North from Wichita Falls?
No, so they're not from North Pole, Alaska. Originally.
a little further north
Who
of
am I
Wichita
thinking
Falls.
of? From, yeah, a little north of Wichita.
Debris.
Debris is from Mineral Wells,
Oh,
though.
Mineral Wells, that's right.
Yeah.
For some, I thought the whole time these guys were from Wichita Falls, and I was trying to figure out how in the hell you got involved with a band from Wichita Falls.
Well, they were
But
originally in
Alaska.
Alaska. Didn't they hook up with Drowning Pool and they said, oh, you should come down to Dallas and you'd get
That's
signed
what-
immediately?
That's what happened. Turbid North started in North Pole, and then they built a following, and then a lot of bands, when they get bigger, they make the trip down from North Pole to Anchorage through Denali.
I said
And they
Wichita
started-
Falls.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
started-
I, yeah.
Yeah, they started opening
I'm
up
an idiot.
for I think they opened up for Darkest Hour, and then they opened up for Drowning Pool and made friends with them, and the band was a lot more southern metal style back in those days. The EP was very Pantera.
Okay, right.
And yeah, so Drowning Pool took to them and said, hey, you should think about moving to Texas. And it was when Deep Ellum was really hopping at that
Yes.
time. Pantera was, just, I mean, I heard Deep Ellum was pretty popular.
No, that was one of the reasons why I actually moved up here from Houston. I never anticipated living here, but the scene down there was so incredible. And I mean, you could buy a wristband for $15, and you could basically bar hop to different venues to see different bands. So it was really a cool thing, and I thought I could live like this.
Yeah, it's nice. There's a bunch of nice venues in Dallas to go watch live music. Most bands will come through Dallas looking forward to Dallas because it's a well-attended show usually.
Yeah.
Same for Fort Worth as well.
Yeah.
To a
Bigger
different
metal
crowd.
scene over there, I think. Seems like Fort Worth supports metal.
They
Dallas-
love that death metal. I'll tell you
Yes,
that.
they do.
Love
Think
Yes,
that.
about
they
the
do.
number of death metal bands over in Fort Worth and Interment, and I Am Destruction, Dead Rising was from over there,
Yeah.
Prophecy,
Gosh, you're an encyclopedia of that.
just freaking on. a lot of death metal.
Yeah. It's kind of strange how it seems to be more popular there.
And Interment, for all that they did, for all their melody and their Pink Floydisms and whatever, we're a quality death metal band.
Yeah.
Had some.
We still bring in the blast beats and the double kicks.
Well,
You've heard some of the new
Yeah, like I said, I spent an afternoon with Nick the other day, and he did send me a track and said, "Shh, don't tell anybody." And man, it's brutal, man.
It's fun,
Yeah,
It's fun.
gonna love hearing the final mix. or
I am
whatever.
too. I know Nick said he's got some ideas, a lot of ideas for vocals. So I'm not sure how exactly how far he is along the line. I think he mentioned about nine songs done.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
75%
something like
of the
that.
album done.
But it's Eyes Alive was almost a departure from Orogeny in the fact that it was a little more melodic, but it still had some of the heaviness. But that stripped down 3-piece thing is much different than the 5-piece that you were.
It's a real challenge, because you got one less guitar to fill up the frequency spectrum, so you have to change my whole tone, bass tone changed dramatically with 3-piece. It took me a while to get my head around having to use distortion a lot to make that sound full,
Right.
So it's
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing with a 3-piece. There's nowhere to hide. You make mistakes. They're very upfront. But you guys were. I mean, I saw you play several times as a 3-piece and was really impressed.
yeah. We went all out with production as well. We organised a buddy of ours who works at Gas Monkey to program. We borrowed these digital spinning lights from a rental company, and then we got a friend who works at this venue, that's a light guy, to program a whole light production setup scheme for each of the songs we toured with, and
Wow.
set it up each day. Even had a smoke machine that went overboard with sometimes.
Almost Spinal Tap.
There's a video on Facebook I made of a montage of it that you can see, and it's funny. But I showed it to the guys on Earth. They're talking and they just thought it was amusing that I didn't edit any of the people, sort of talking to each other in the shop, picking their nose or walking to the bathroom. This is a small shows.
Production value.
Shows, yeah.
Production value.
Our stuff is so professional.
Yeah, we are so professional.
I wanted it to look as impressive as possible from further back. So you can see it.
So speaking of Spinal Tap, I have a funny, very quick story. When I was in a band back in the day, we literally played to no one. We walked in, set up, started playing. The sound man made sure everything was set, and he walked out. And we played to an empty room. So what are your Spinal Tap moments? We know there have to be some. I tripped the guitar player with a mic cord once too.
Well, I'll tell you a story about another band. When you were telling that story, it reminded me of this. I won't say the name of the band, but I'll say that they were thrashers from about 6 years ago, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not telling you on YouTube. But they were playing a gig in Germany, a small town in Germany. I think it was an off show between festivals, and they played a show to one person paid, and that person was in a wheelchair, and they had to pick them up and carry them up the stairs to the show and take them down at the end of the night.
Oh man!
One paid.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to know who that is.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Your secret will be safe with us.
Yeah.
That is
but the thing is that's happened to everyone.
Right.
Any band will have an off show. You can be playing. I don't know. Remember Turbid North? We played downtown Chicago, and Brighton was super psyched about it, expecting sold out 200-300 cab room downstairs in the basement. And I guess this guy didn't realise that a Jack Johnson show was being played just up the road, which was two blocks, and it was in the baseball stadium. I think it's the Cubs baseball stadium.
Wrigley Field.
Yeah, Wrigley
Oh
Field.
man!
So there was no parking anywhere, and there was traffic everywhere.
Man.
That stuff happens. AC/DC's in town.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah, you're not going to get anybody at your show.
Yeah. I do have another funny little one. I went to see my buddy's band play down in Austin, his old punk band, and Avenged Sevenfold were opening for them, opening for my buddy's band,
Wow.
and they sold one T-shirt to me. So I sat next to M Shadows like this, and they were nice. They were super nice. They played their butts off. It was really cool, but it was so funny because I didn't think of it at the time. I was like, yeah, those guys were pretty nice, and I picked up their first album, and then a couple years later, just off the charts, And,
I believe the Avenged Sevenfold toured with Unearth.
Okay.
When they were coming up too. I wasn't the band at the time, but Trevor telling me that.
But everybody has to pay their dues. I remember the Mayhem Fest in Houston that the Turbid played, and you started to play, and everyone kind of did a double take. I mean, there was nobody anywhere near the stage. The outdoor venue was basically empty. I didn't sell one shirt, and as soon as they were halfway through their first song, there were circle pits and headbangers, and the room started to fill up. And my friend called me from the big venue where Anthrax was playing, and I said, how's Anthrax doing? And he said, I don't know, they're terrible. And everyone's leaving and going over to the side. What was that stage called? The Jägermeister
It was
stage?
the Jaeger stage at the
The
time.
Jaeger stage. And by the time that they were midway through their set, there must have been 1,000 people there, maybe?
There was
a substantial amount.
Quite a lot.
And,
There was a lot more than I was expecting.
And I sold $400 worth of merch, like almost instantaneously. As soon as they stopped playing, it was like,
Yeah.
so everybody, I guess, gets that one moment where they either play to a whole bunch or they've never played there before.
I think there were a lot of metal kids. That was a weird Mayhem fest. It was kind of a sort of smaller version of Mayhem because of the logistics of the grounds or something. There was only 4 bands inside and 4 bands outside.
Right.
Remember that? I think it was Turbid North, Asking Alexandria,
Although
Devil Wears Prada, and As They Die.
Okay.
That was
Oh,
the
that's
4
right.
bands.
Yeah.
And then inside was Anthrax, Motorhead, who were the headliners?
Slayer and Slipknot.
Yeah. That's it.
Wow.
So we would when we
Remember,
had a
they booted
sponsorship.
us off the stage during Slipknot, and it was a closed stage. And after standing like this close to Gary Holt and feeling the fire from the fire pots, anyway, they booted us, and the whole thing I think was
How's it going, Nick?
That?
How's it going?
Good, man. It's awesome.
Did you shower?
No, I just
You
got
wanna-
through and.
You want to jump in here and
Yeah, we're doing an
Let
interview
me
if you want.
hang this shit up. To go
okay,
get it.
yeah, do your thing, man.
Fucking wretched right now.
Hey, could you give me a beer, please?
Production value.
Production value.
So you were talking about merch a minute ago, and we just talked about merch a couple of episodes ago and what we like to see. So he was telling me before I put two and two together about Unearth being the ones doing the tribute shirts. Who comes up with that? Those are brilliant, man.
We all come up with ideas for tribute shirts.
The Rambo one's my favorite. By
The
the way.
Rambo's one of the best ones. I think that's the second best selling T-shirt that I've ever had. I can't remember the first one. I'll have to ask Nick or Ken or Buzz. But the Rambo shirt's definitely. We actually thought about bringing on tour for this one, but there's been a lot of stupid people out there with guns that have been shooting a lot of people, and we just felt that with Warp Tour being more sensitive, shall we say, we thought it'd be best to just do a different one. So we did Wayne's World.
Yeah,
that was
funny.
cool.
Yeah, very funny.
My favorite all time was the Mano War parody.
I haven't seen that
Yeah.
one.
You haven't seen that?
No.
That was it was a really good tribute to one of my favorite bands. We actually got a cease and desist from Joey about that.
Oh, well, then it worked out.
Then it worked. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a sign that it's a good parody.
Right.
But the good thing is that we're going to be having a fire sale on those Unearth parody T-shirts, and we're going to be running 15% off. Okay, so
Get your Unearth shirts here. That's right.
It's the last time you're going to be able to buy them. It's a lawsuit.
A parody shirt or these parody shirts that you have in stock?
Well, they're tribute shirts. They're
Oh,
not parodies,
tribute.
So
Oh,
let's be
no.
respectful.
Yeah, let's be respectful. I'm sorry. That was my word, not his.
So I have recently been educated by Carcass on Unearth. I've known about Unearth, but I'm very late to the party. I fully admit that. I am stuck on Watchers, man. That thing just crushes.
It's a great record.
It's a great record. What do we expect on the new one, and when do we expect it?
The new one is expected to be out late summer, but that's not set in stone. We're still sorting out the artwork, what the final album artwork is going to be. And I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be coming
Well,
out. but we're
Buzz said-
shooting for the end of
Buzz
summer.
said never. Buzz said never, but maybe October.
We are now joined by Nick.
Greetings.
Here, I think we can.
Are you doing a live stream or just a.
No, we're
We're just
just
recording it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll just move it around as we
We can play
need.
across it.
production value.
Production value, yeah.
That's all right. That's the charm.
It does add to the charm.
Yeah,
Played a heck of a show, brother.
this is even better than box.
That was awesome.
Thanks, man.
Hey, come. Why don't you sit back here?
We were just talking about the new album and when to expect that and what to expect on it. So just chime in as you.
Don't expect. I'll tell you what not to expect. Don't expect it to be like the last album.
He was just saying about how much he's enjoyed Watchers.
Okay.
Rob is a little bit new to the Unearth party.
I am new to the
I
party.
tried to educate him the best I could.
Uh-huh.
He picked up Watchers, really digs it. He picked up a couple other.
I've got the last four.
Okay, and digs them, but really likes Watchers. But so when you say it's going to be different, what do you mean by that?
So, Watchers was predominantly written by me and Buzz, whereas the new stuff has been written by Ken and Buzz. And then I wrote drums with Buzz, and I didn't really spend much time writing drums with Ken. So the way that it's different is that I didn't incorporate a lot of my style of breakdowns and like the heavier decapitated type stuff, like slam. I won't say slam riffs, but the more rudimentary rhythmic type stuff that you hear on Watch as a Rule, with that up like faster pace, up tempo, like Never Cease has a lot of stuff that I wrote in it. The guitar playing locks in a lot with the drumming on that stuff, and a certain tempo range and a certain style. Whereas in with the new album, all of those same groove elements are still there. It's the drum mix is incredible. The drums sound awesome on this album. I literally had to tell Will Putney nothing. Like he sent me the drum mix, and I was like, I have no revisions reference for you. Like the
So,
sound,
you
the sound
recorded in California
with Adam
Adam,
D.
right?
Yeah, yeah. So the drums for the new album were done with Adam D. down in San Diego, and they sounded brutal. Like it's just I would have been fine with just the raw tracks. Like they sounded so good, I was cool with the raw tracks that Adam had. Like it's a very at that stage in the writing process, it was a very like vintage.
I thought Bonham style reverb in that room. It sounded to me.
It sounded huge.
Really
That room was so good for everything. Like I had brought one of the snares that I had built down there, and then he had some common drums down there that were already set up, and then I brought my cymbals and all that kind of stuff. But the room sounded incredible. Like kicks are usually hard to dial in the studio, and there was a natural EQ in that room to just kill the kicks. Like it was so good sounding.
I think a lot of people are going to be impressed with the mix of the new album.
I think so. I think it's the best mix that Unearth has had. Like Buzz said, he heard it and he was like, "This is my band. Like I play for these guys." You know? And that was a perfect example. Like he heard the shit like 2 weeks before I did, and then I hit up Will Putney. Like, "Yo, what do you got going on for a mix or whatever? What's happening right now?" And so he sent me some stuff, and I was like, "He's right. Like this sounds dope as fuck." So it was cool. Like hearing that kind of stuff, like just the audible mix into the spectrum was really locked in. And I think that's what the difference is between the last album and this album are going to be, is that you'll notice the grooves are much more dialed in and not as, I don't want to say organic sounding, because they are very organic. The tracks sound really like raw. Like if you would have heard the original drum recordings to what Will Putney did to them, like that's just a beefed up steroid injected version of what me and Adam did. You know, so the groove, the natural aspect of it is very locked in that respect on the new album. I will say that the new album is heavier in a different direction.
I would say it's more muscular
Yeah,
and
that's
less brutal. If that's because now there's certain levels of heaviness.
Yeah, it's like festival heavy, not summer slaughter heavy. Right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's heavy for all the kids who want to mosh and circle pit and go ape shit. And
Ig. High on Ig.
Yeah.
The Ig dial has been turned up to probably about 9.5, maybe 9.7. There's one song that's especially ignorant. Remember the title? I know we've been using working titles.
There's a few.
And I'll Be Waiting.
Compost.
Yeah, what's the word? The Hail something?
No, that's not the working title. That's what I'm not going to say. Compost was the
No,
working
what's
title.
the
The actual title of it?
Yeah.
I don't know if it should be that.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, man, I'm stoked to hear the new one then, because one of the first things I noticed when I picked the first album that I got was Watchers, and I couldn't believe how amazing it sounded. So if you're saying that this is better, then
Don't get me wrong, Watcher sounds awesome. It's
It
very
does sound
organic.
awesome.
It's got a vibe to it. You know, it sounds cool. Mark Lewis did an excellent job on mixing that album and really bringing out that aspect of Unearth. You know, it was different than normal. Everybody thought that was a different album for us. It was way more tech, I guess, and way more punishing. The whole album through, all up tempo, really crushing.
It was more of a metal record. It sounded
very
a
much so.
little less like you said, slam or D-beat or whatever. It sounded more of like a heavy metal record, but it was hit. I mean, super on the super heavy side.
Yeah.
Ridiculously difficult to play on bass.
I
didn't
guitar players.
I didn't record any bass lines on that. It was recorded by Ken and Buzz, so it was very shreddy and very, very, very challenging.
that thing is so riff-tastic. It is just like
Yeah.
a smorgasbord of metal riffs.
Yeah.
I was just in love. I was actually mowing the yard listening to it,
Right on.
and earbuds, and just, I need to stop and take this in. It's just so good, man.
Yeah, it's different for us too, because like on the writing aspect, me and Buzz predominantly worked on all of those Watcher the Rule songs. I would say like 9 of the 11 that we did, something like that, were written by me and him, and we've been doing that stuff for at least a couple of years since I joined the band. I mean, you would have this foundation of a song that would completely get ripped apart and just take sections from it, and we'd start compiling all similar tempos, and over the course of like 3 or 4 years, we had this whole vocabulary of Unearth riffs to pull from, and we just kept on building on top of each song, you know, just kept on elaborating on how we wanted it to sound. And so after years of riffing, we got the end product of the Rule. And then on this album, the dudes pretty much wrote full songs in their entirety, and then I just went through and put drums to them, and they would track them. So it was a totally different vibe. I didn't really have any input or kind of insight into what was going on. I just wrote drums for this album, as opposed to the last album, which was 3-4 years of just burning through different riffs and finding out what would work for that album.
Right.
So this one's a different, definitely a different take, because it hits all of the Unearth vocabulary that they've hit in the past, and it's got a really nice locked-in solid mix with a very good foundation.
There's really good solos in there too.
Yeah,
There's a couple of solos that I find myself sort of just humming.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah, catchy leads.
it's really catchy. Yeah, I'd watch Buzz record a couple of the leads because we recorded some solos and bass drums. Yeah, there's certain parts
Yeah, like we had
catchy.
14, 15 songs that we're going to narrow down to 10, I think.
Oh man, it's like 22.
Oh, fuck yeah, that was right. It was 22 songs.
22
and
songs. We
narrowed it down.
condensed them all down, so we got a bunch of material. That
Yeah.
be nice. Hope it'd be nice to get another release out quickly.
Yeah, we've talked about doing this album, and
Sort of
then
work.
there's so many good songs that were scrapped. Some of my favorite songs got tossed, and that happens. You know,
Right.
You get butthurt about it because you put your heart and soul and everything into it, and then you track it in the studio. You know, I was doing 12-hour days in the studio without a beat, and it was just daunting. And you finish that track, and you're like, yeah, this is the one. It's
How many
dope.
tracks were you doing a day?
Doing 3 to 4 a day, something like
Wow.
that. So 12-hour day. It was
Boy, that's
madness.
heavy workload.
5 days, yeah.
Yeah.
So 60 hours of straight drumming in 5 days, something like that. It was brutal as hell. But the end product was priceless. Like I wouldn't have done anything different. Me and him had some heated conversations about shit because the way that everything lined up with the recording cycle and how the drums were written. I mean, tons of shit. It was very, very, very last minute. Like I got 13 tracks the night before I went down to California to record them, and they had all got changed the week prior in pre-pro. So I practiced all of this stuff, but I had no time to refine it. So it was weird. It was different, but you know, we went down there and tracked 15 songs, I think, 14 songs, and prior to that, we had narrowed it down to 22. So I had learned 22 fucking songs, and then you narrow it down to 13. All the structures changed. Everything's completely different. I'm in the studio relearning tracking. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Like it totally gives a different professional aspect to Unearth and to drumming and to writing a great album. Like this album is gonna fucking destroy. Like, it is super heavy. It's everything. Like I was an Unearth fan before I was a member of the band. So hearing and playing all of this kind of stuff, like I played what I've always heard Unearth do with a little spice to it, and then the other side of that is all the crushing Unearth shit. Yeah.
No, it's all
Yeah,
good,
okay.
man.
I'm in
This
here.
this is production value.
That's like watching myself. You guys are not even. Yeah, you guys want to grab some?
I will. We want to go, but I want to finish this interview.
Yeah, we're almost done.
What do you need to know?
What do you need to know?
How excited are you about the new album?
Not excited at all.
Okay.
Next question.
I just want to say thanks for having a late set time because I was able to get my yard mowed this morning.
Yard boat.
I got the
What's
yard.
boat?
I got the yard mowed.
Yard boat.
Yeah,
Like,
I was able to mow the yard before I came down. So
Nice.
yeah, thank you for that so much.
I
I was afraid I was going to have to do that late tonight. So
Anyway, well, thanks for chiming in.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
awesome. I have to ask the question: when you practice the songs in the studio, do you do all the tricks too? The stick twirl,
Some of them, yeah, I
stick
did.
twirls, and the whole reach and grab. I mean, that's
Yeah, like just for shits and gigs. Like if I'm in the pocket and I'm having a really good time in the studio, I'll be fucking around and doing whatever I usually do. But yeah, it depends on the comfortability of the song.
Yeah.
Like there was 2 or 3 in the studio where I was just being a goofball and my typical self, and throwing shit all over the place, just trying to be a doofus.
you need to check him out on YouTube because as a drummer trying to relearn how to play drums, it's mayhem. It's like you say, you can tell you're having a good time. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch you do it without. I mean, like I said, he came off stage. It's the same tricks, but they still are awesome to watch. So.
Right on. Thank
yeah,
you.
it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Well, we're going to get out of your home, away from home, so you guys can get to dinner and do your thing.
Yep.
I feel like I'm just in the way, but thank you so much for welcoming us in and letting us hang out. Watching from the stage that's going to be the highlight of my concert here, I'm sure. It was awesome, man. So much fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, until next time, we will see you guys.
Our tagline is-
Say goodbye to Unearth. Everyone, say goodbye. And until next time, metal
Metal will
will prevail. Yeah.